welcome to the fourth meeting of Bengaluru Urban Swag, everyone. So today we have Bridie Mills with us, who will be explaining about how to automate your design process and save time with DriveWorks Express. Most of you might not know about DriveWorks Express because you just design and take snapshots and everything. But DriveWorks really saves a lot of time in automating the whole process, like whatever you're doing to take the screenshot in different angles or change dimensions and everything else. It saves a lot of time. Like you'll have an amazing insight to DriveWorks from Bridie. And also you'll get to know about the DriveWorks certification. They are free certifications. You don't have to give any vouchers or anything. All the certification from DriveWorks is completely free. You'll also get to know about it from Bridie. So I'll just hand over the virtual stage to you, Bridie. You have the stage.
Great, thank you very much, Prasad, and thank you for having me at the meeting today, especially on a Friday, nearly ready for the weekend. But I'm very excited to be here and talk to you all about DriveWorks Express, and obviously, as Prasad said earlier, how you can save lots and lots of time with DriveWorks, and obviously move on to the more exciting tasks as part of your workday, rather than the boring ones that you probably don't want to be doing all of the time. I'm also actually joined on the call by one of my colleagues, Lucy, who you can probably see there. So I'll just give a shout out to Lucy, who handles all of our marketing and social media at DriveWorks. So she's going to take some screenshots of our presentation, so I better not mess up. So I'll get going. Now, I want to sort of start off with a bit of an introduction to DriveWorks, the company, and then we'll get on to the fun stuff of the demonstration and how you do all of those certifications. So first off, as Prasad said, I am Bridie from DriveWorks, and I joined the team at the end of 2017. I actually studied languages at university, so I did Italian and then Spanish, so very different to the technology world, but it's all fun. Therefore, yeah, CAD and automation and design automation were very new to me, but that is always fine. At work, I work a lot with the education program. So, telling everyone about all the wonderful certifications we have, telling everyone about DriveWorks Express, and, all those fun things that you can do with the software. So, sometimes, I've lost my mouse, apologies. I thought it'd be nice to just show you some pictures of our team. So there's about 50 of us based here in the UK. We do have a couple of colleagues based at other places around the world, but the most of us are over here in the UK. Like I said, there's about 50 of us in all together in various aspects of the business. So we have our engineers, we have our marketers, we have our sales team, we have our, very important, our developers, and we have a systems team as well. So there's lots of different faces around the company. This is just some extra images of us. So at 3D Experience World, the last time we were able to go back in February in Nashville, that was a really fun experience. And we actually did our 3D Experience Platform certification before we went. And then we received 2 Queen's Awards, which are the highest accolade in the UK for businesses. So that's just a picture of us on our presentation day. So all dressed nice and smart before COVID happened. So in regards to DriveWorks and the SWG community, because obviously you're all now members of the SWG community, we've been doing a lot of work with them over the years. We support groups around the world. So in ways like I am today, talking about DriveWorks. In other ways, things like prizes and attending meetings and just making sure that this amazing community keeps growing and growing and just helping in any way that we can. So we always want to support them. And, with the groups going virtual, we've still been able to support, and if not, support even more, because we don't need to obviously travel around the world. We can do it from our computer right here, which is amazing. So now for the fun stuff. What is DriveWorks? So DriveWorks is a software solution that allows you guys as engineers to set up your own design automation tools, and then using that sort of same technology, create a way to specify new products or versions of your product. And we're going to talk a little bit more later about these different sort of versions of DriveWorks and that kind of thing, but it basically allows you to automate your whole design process and make it a lot smoother and easier. So today we're actually going to focus predominantly on DriveWorks as a design automation tool. It can be used as a CPQ tool as well, so you can do online selling and go online and actually have an online platform with DriveWorks, but that's the sort of high version of the software. But today we really want to focus on the core, that design automation, and how you guys can get started automating your design process as soon as we finish this call and start saving some time. So DriveWorks Express, as we've mentioned, it's free for all SolidWorks users. It's included inside every license. This means that you can go into SolidWorks, activate your license, and then just start using the software straight away. So all you need to do is a 6-step process. Open up SolidWorks, go to Tools, Express Products, DriveWorks Express. You want to click on the link for My SolidWorks. You'll get an activation code, paste it into the box, and then you could just start automating from there. So it's really easy to do, but I'll make sure that I send out further information about that after the meeting so you can get started straight away. So how does it actually work? So it's entry-level software. It's basics of design automation, so it's really easy to get to grips with. But it basically allows you to drive values into your dimensions. You can suppress and unsuppress features, or even delete whole parts from assemblies if needed. It's perfect for small projects because it's very simple to set up a project, and it does sort of the 3 core functions of design automation. So that is capturing your information that you want to change, so capturing those dimensions such as length and width, capturing different features, so it might be materials, something like that. Those different aspects that you want to drive later on. You can even automate the custom properties or drawings for each new variation of your model. You then need to create an input form. So this is your selections for, I want to have the width's going to be between the length of 250 and 350, all those different options that you're going to have on your form that people can go through when they are actually designing the new variation. And then DriveWorks is all rules based, so it's all about setting up rules, and we'll go into that a little bit later on. And then after you've done all your the 3 steps, you can just run your project as many times as you like, creating new variations of the models and drawings over and over again. So that was quite a whistle stop tour, so I am going to go into it in a little bit more detail. So as I said, the first step is capturing those design parameters. So capturing your length, capturing your width, capturing whatever you want to change on your model. And this is basically telling DriveWorks which components you want to create new versions of and what you want to control or change inside of those components. You'll then move on to creating your input form. So this is, again, those sort of options of what you're going to have on your form. So are you going to, say the order number, so you know what order number is going to be changing each time? Is the option going to be the height? Is it going to be the width? Is it going to be the depth? What are those controls as well? So, for example, you might design doors as your sort of product. Well, you might know that your doors can never exceed a certain length, so they might never be able to exceed, 3 meters. They can't be smaller than, 1 meter. So you can put those controls in to say that the option is going to be between 1 meter and 3 meters, and your customers or whoever's inputting the values in the form can select between those options. So it helps there with error control and that kind of thing. There's also different types of form inputs, which again, when we do the demonstration, I'll show you in a bit more detail. The next option is actually writing your rules. So rules are what DriveWorks is all based on. It's the integral part of DriveWorks. It's very similar to Excel rules. So you might have things like if statements or different types of logic. And it's really, is the essential part of DriveWorks to match up those captured design parameters with those inputs on your form, and then be able to actually create this full DriveWorks project. So when we go into the demonstration again, it'll become a lot clearer of how rules actually operate within DriveWorks. And then the final stage is just, running that project as many times as you like to create all of those wonderful new variations of the same model that you originally started out with, but obviously doing it a lot faster. So how is this going to actually benefit you? So the first one is it speeds up your design process, which is very important. We're all very busy people, so we don't want to be spending time doing really boring, repetitive tasks. So you might go from that, before DriveWorks, you might have that initial inquiry that takes, X amount of time. But then the actual design process is, could vary from 1 or 2 days, longer, shorter. It can be quite a lengthy process. And then obviously you've got to get the product shipped. Whereas if you have DriveWorks and you've automated this process, your initial inquiry time takes the same, but then your design process is cut down massively, which means you can get your product shipped faster, which means that your customer is a lot happier, because obviously you have managed to get them their product a lot quicker. It means that you can then do more sort of designs, you can do more research and development, you can get more and more orders out, so your boss will be happy because you've managed to sell even more this year. So it really does speed it all up. The next one is eliminating those mistakes. We are all human beings and we can make mistakes. So if you're manually designing everything, it's a lot more obvious to sort of make mistakes, or a lot more likely to make mistakes. Whereas if you do DriveWorks, it's an automated system, so it's not going to make mistakes. Obviously repetitive tasks as well, they make the mistakes happen, quoting mistakes, all that kind of thing. So, they can be costly to a business and really affect the sort of time taken to actually get those models out there and your sort of products created. So the last one is freeing up the engineering time. As engineers, I imagine you all, really enjoy designing and doing really fun tasks, but you don't want to do those boring, repetitive ones every single day. So get rid of those, and then obviously you can then do all the fun things that you originally studied to be able to do. So, things like working on new projects, developing, existing products, and automating even more. So getting all that fun stuff sort of done is very important, and what DriveWorks will allow you to do. So moving on in terms of DriveWorks Express in general, this is just another sort of view of how it actually works. So as you can see from the image there, we're inside SolidWorks. We've got our product. It's a scissor lift. Couldn't think what it was. A scissor lift here. Say that's our original model, and then over here you can see that from that original project we can create all of these different variations instantly using DriveWorks because it's automated that whole system. If we move on, DriveWorks isn't actually also just for complete products, but it might be that you need to automate, a small part of your product. So it might be, for example, in this case, you might need to automate the machine guard because that's something that only changes a little bit every time that you have a new model. So you might want to automate that, but if you just automate that process, you're still saving yourself a lot of time because it's only changing by a bit of a length, a bit of a width each time the actual machine changes, but it means that you're not doing that boring task of redesigning that every single time. So again, even if you can't automate your whole product, just automating a little bit and saving yourself a little bit of time will really go a long way in the future. So now I've sort of talked at you quite a lot there about DriveWorks, but let's actually see it in practice. So the best way I thought to do this was I've actually recorded the video earlier of me doing the demonstration, so it's easier for me to talk over it, and I know there's going to be no errors because I've already done it. So hopefully you can all see the video now. Again, we're inside SolidWorks and we're going to get started. So I'll just talk you through all of this. So I'm inside SolidWorks. I've already activated my license of DriveWorks Express, as you can see here, but it's also found inside Express Products DriveWorks Express. Now, if you can remember from earlier in the presentation, the first thing that I'm going to need to do is capture those design parameters that I want to change every time. So that's the first thing that we're going to do. So I'll go over to the design tree here. I've got my captured models, my dimensions and features, and what I'm going to do is double click here because I want to capture the width and the depth. They're the two things that I really want to change on this magazine rack demo. So I can easily capture them, click add, and they appear here underneath the design tree. So really quickly, I've managed to capture both of those features. You know, I've double clicked on the base flange, I've found them, they've gone instantly underneath the dimensions folder, which means that I now know that the depth and the width of this model is captured, which is super important. So next step to move on to is for me to actually capture the magazine quantity. So how many magazines I will want to see inside the rack. So I can capture that really easily, get my spelling correct, type in what I want to call it, which is magazine quantity. I can click add on that one. And again, that dimension has appeared instantly underneath my dimensions folder, meaning that I know instantly that that extra dimension has been captured. So for now, that's all I want to capture for the dimensions. The depth, the width, and the magazine quantity is all I need right now. But I also want to capture a feature. Now, the feature I'm going to capture here is the text. I want this text that currently says DriveWorks to change every single time. So I want to, you know, if I am doing magazines for myself, I might want to call it Bridie's magazines. I might want to not have any text on there at all. So later on, when I'm building my rules, I'll want to be able to change that. Oh, I can just see that my colleague Heather has joined us. So I'll just, as we're in a pause, hi Heather. I'll just wave. Thanks for, we're only just getting started, Heather, so it's all good. So as you can see here, I've got my feature captured, my text, I've got my dimensions captured really easily. Now the next thing I'm going to capture is actually custom properties. So I don't want to capture them all. There's only a few that I want to capture, but I'm going to quickly go through so I can really easily just check off what I want to capture, which is customer, the actual customer text there, who it's drawn by, the order number, and the total height of the model. I can see they're all checked off. That's done. They're all captured. Now, the final thing that I want to do, so after I've obviously captured all of those, is actually capture a drawing, because every time that I create this model, I want to have a brand new drawing. It will save you so much time further down the line. I know that this drawing is you know, correct, it's error-free. So I'm going to capture this SOLIDWORKS drawing for the original magazine rack and make sure that that design updates every time. So I can just quickly open that up. I can see that it's captured there, and that is all done. So I've captured my dimensions and features, I've captured my custom properties, and I've captured my drawing. So let's move on to building that form, which is a really important part. So when you're building your form, there's lots of different inputs that you can have. So you might want to have a text box if it's something like the customer name, that obviously just needs to be a text box. Just simply put in some different text in there. So it might be, you know, Bridie's the customer, or it might be Prasad's customer, Heather the customer, that kind of thing. I might want something like a numeric text box. So obviously I've got my depth and the width, that's going to have to be numbers that's inserted into there. I might have a spin button for different options, and we'll get to see all of those throughout this form building process. But the first thing I'm going to input is my text box. And what it's going to be is for the what I believe it's going to be is the customer name. So that will obviously change each time. So that's required. I want to make sure that that is always captured. The next one is going to be another text box, and that's for the order number. So again, that's obviously going to change every time that I have a new order. I can test my form to make sure it's working. So you'll notice here that when I've not input a value, I have a warning message saying, you know, you need to put a value in here. Again, it's really helping with that error, sort of combating those errors and making sure that we're not having, you know, wrong information input there. So I can just test it really quickly. I put Bridie in, I put my order number in. That seems to work. I'll get rid of those and go back to building my form. So the next control is actually going to be a checkbox. And this is going to be for this text here. So do I want to see this customized text? Yes or no. So it's going to be customized text required, and I can say, yes, I want text on the model. No, I don't want text. The next one is the actual customized text. So what do I want it to say if I do want to see some text up there? Moving on, it's going to be a spin button this time, if it goes on. And this is going to be for the magazine quantity. So how many of these different options for magazines I can want to have in there. So I might just want 2. I might just want to have 3, I might want to have 10. So I'm going to put a minimum value, a maximum value, and the increment of 1. Next, moving on, we're going to actually use a numeric text box here, and these are going to be for the width and the depth. So the first one is the depth. I never want it to go over or under 150, and my maximum value, I want it to be 250. So I know when I've done that, that my engineers or designers, whoever it is, can only use options that are less than more than 150 or less than 250. And you obviously will know your models the better you'll know which design parameters to put in there. Another numeric text box I'm going to include here is for the width. So this is going to be between 200 and 500 because I know that, again, my model can't have a width, less than 200, but it can't have one over 500. Again, I can create that. And I've just got, I think it's one more control to create. And this is going to be a drop down because I want to know who has designed this model every time. So I'm going to put a lot of different options in here. So I might be one of the designers to choose from. And it's just a pipe bar here. It might be Ollie, it might be Laura, I think, yeah, Tom, I think I've got one more, and Will. So currently in my business, there's 5 different designers, and I can choose from all of those. What I'm doing here, so it's actually the option to be able to move different controls up and down. So you might want the order number to feature at the top, or you might want the customer. You can change those around when you're building your form. So you're not just stuck with that original format that you've decided on. Again, I can test my form, but what I'm actually going to do here, and you'll see how this is beneficial later on, I'm actually going to create some default values so that every time I go back to my model, they're the values that are sort of naturally inserted, but it'll make it easier when I'm building my rules, and you'll see that really quickly when we go to the rules builder. But again, you can see that I've got these warning signs telling me what I need to put in there. So, type in a value for the order number, type in a value for your customer. Do you want that text? I'm going to say yes for the default. It might just say magazines. The default for the quantity is going to be 5, 150, make it very easy for myself, and then 200 for the width. And then I'll say that I think it's me that is the default designer, obviously. And I can set those defaults, and we'll go back to that shortly. So already we've captured, we've done step 1, we've captured, we've done step 2, we've built that form. All we've got to do now is complete step 3, which is our rules builder. So as I mentioned earlier, rules are integral to DriveWorks, where DriveWorks Express is a rules-based software, and you'll see the importance of it shortly, but also how easy it is to set up those rules, to match together those captured elements with those controls in that form input to create this DriveWorks Express project that will hopefully save you lots of time. So we move over to our rules builder. As you can, oh, sorry, I've just gone back to the start. I'll be second. Classic. Oh, I've skipped a bit there. There we are. So as you can see there, I've got 10 rules that need to be created. DriveWorks has made it really easy for me because all the ones that I need to create rules for are in red. So the first rule I'm going to create is for a file name, because every time I create a new model, I get a brand new file name because it's a brand new model. So it makes it really easy to decipher, this is a new model, this is the order number, this is the customer, put those together so we can always identify it very easily. So I can click edit. I'm going to build that rule, and we can see here really easily the DriveWorks Express rules builder. It's got different inputs, it's got math, logic, everything you kind of need on there. What I'm going to do, just make it a bit bigger. And what I'm going to do for my file name is, like I said, I'm going to have the order number with an ampersand, and I'm going to link it with the customer name. Oh, what you will have seen there, sorry, I keep doing that. What you will have seen there is that the text at the back goes, the box at the back goes red. Now, the reason it goes red is because DriveWorks is telling me that this currently is an invalid rule. So it makes it that our rules are always built correctly, because we'll know that if they're not, there's something wrong there. So I can carry on adding in order number and our customer, and then we can see here, you know, when we did our form inputs earlier, our default values are 1, 2, 3 DriveWorks, so I know that that rule has been successfully created, which is really, you know, that's why we wanted to make those default values. So our first rule is created, super easy. I can go back to my summary now. The next things I need to do is to actually build rules for our custom properties. So really easy, I can just expand those. I've got that customer, so I need to link customer to the customer input. So DriveWorks is what it was in the default. That's created, super easy. Exactly the same for the order number. Let's link that order number rule, order number capture to the order number of the custom property. Drawn by, again, link that to the designer, which was the input. I was the default value there. That's okay, all easy. Now the next one is going to be for this customer etch. Now this, oh, sorry. My computer's not enjoying things today. Apologies. I did that one. Let's go back. So the next one is going to be for this customer etch. So it's this text at the top here. Now it's a little bit a slightly more tricky rule, but nothing too crazy. So it's going to be some logic, and it's going to be an if statement. So if that customized text is required, so if I check yes on my text box, true, I want that customized text. So if it equals true, we're going to input the customized text, which is magazines. If it's false, we haven't clicked it, we don't want to see it. So that's just a really easy if statement, and it's created that rule for us. The next one is for total height. Now this is a little bit of logic that I wouldn't worry too much about. It's just something for this particular demonstration that it's created, but it's basically going to give me the overall height each time. So it's how many quantities in the magazine divided by 125 plus 75. So the result for this one is just going to be 700, but don't worry too much about that rule. We've just got 4 left to create. So we've got the dimensions. So if you remember the depth, the width, and the magazine quantity, we can match that depth rule, dimension to the depth input. Exactly the same for the width, 200. There we go. And we're going to do, again, we're going to do exactly the same for the magazine quantity. Super easy, as we can see. So we just have one more rule to create, and that was for that feature. So that was for that text at the top of here that currently says DriveWorks. So we just need to, you know, again, make sure those are connected. So that feature is connected to the actual input for that. So it's another if statement, and it's another if customized text required equals true, like we had before. I want them to unsuppress that feature. However, if it's not true, I want them to keep that text suppressed. I don't want to see it. So as we were talking about earlier, DriveWorksXpress allows you to suppress and unsuppress different features. So in this case, it's the text. In your case, it might be the material of your model. So as we can see, we've got no red boxes there. So we've done everything. We've captured it all. We've created our input, and we've built all those rules. So all that's left to do is actually build our different versions of our models. So there's a couple of examples here, and you can see just how easy it is to create. So I'm going to do a different order number. Let's say SolidWorks has decided to commission a magazine rack. Maybe they will. We'll call it Bridie's Magazines just for fun. The quantity, let's say it's going to be quite a lot. So it's going to be 7. We're going to have 200 as a depth, and we're going to go quite wide and have 300. We'll say that Laura designed this one, and then we'll click create. And what you'll see now is DriveWorks working in the background, creating this brand new model. So it's updating those there. Everything's checking off correctly here. It's creating it all. You'll see the drawing, a brand new drawing's being created there. Again, super easy. All those new values, so you've not had to go from scratch to create that drawing. It's just done it automatically because you captured that as a option originally. And that's it. That's completed. So that took me 10 minutes to create that project, and it's taken me about 10 seconds, 15 seconds maybe to create a brand new model. So really, really easy, if by magic, really. And we're going to, just to check that you all believe me, we're going to do another example. So we'll go back again. So we've created that wonderful model, but actually I've got another customer that wants something very different. So we'll change that order number. We'll change who it is. Actually, no, SolidWorks want more. I don't want text this time, so we're going to actually keep that feature suppressed. We're going to change the quantity to 2. It's just a very simple model, this one. Lower depth and still that quite wide width. We'll say that Tom's the designer this time, and we'll create. So again, DriveWorks is going back. It's recreating this brand new model from scratch again. We can see that that drawing's been updated. So another brand new drawing's been created there. Again, super easy. We've got, and then instantly, we've got this brand new model here that's completely different. And again, obviously you can see, I think it's hidden on my screen because of the GoToMeeting, but you should be able to see the brand new file name rule at the top, which I think was like 552 or something like that, showing us that it is a brand new model. So hopefully that has explained a little bit further how to create your own DriveWorks Express project and made it really easy. And you can get started straight away. So now that you've obviously seen how to create a DriveWorks project, you might want to have a look at some resources to actually further your knowledge. So we actually have created a lot of free resources. Oh, what was that one? Sorry. Oh, sorry, I'll just seen someone's flashed up here. While the left panel show warning in equation. I'm not 100% sure. It's nothing to do with the actual how DriveWorks is working. It's because an equation for this demo needed to be created, so it makes it a little bit confusing sometimes. So I do apologize for that, but it won't happen with your ones. On that, it's the equation thing getting in the way on this demo sometimes. I blame whoever created it, which wasn't me. Makes it easier. So we'll go through some different resources that you can access straight away. So if you've not already done it, you can actually access the DriveWorks community. So you can create an account inside DriveWorks, and it'll give you access to all these wonderful resources for free. So the URL for it is just on the bottom of the screen there. But what I'll do, Prasad, after the meeting is send you an email with all of the links that I've discussed, so that if you could send that out to the group so that everyone can access everything super easy, that would be great. Perfect.
Yeah, sure, definitely.
Fabulous, thank you. But what I'll do here is just quickly talk through them. So every first Tuesday of the month, we have a Getting Started webinar. So Getting Started with DriveWorks Express. So kind of showing you what I've just shown you there, but in a bit more detail about how to set up a project. Different tutorials that you can download and sort of guide yourself through with setting up projects. Different video clips that again give you that great insight. Different sample projects that you can actually see how different DriveWorks Express projects have been created. So they're all there for you to access, and you can see sort of the back end of those ones. There's a forum that you can access through SolidWorks. So people are talking all about DriveWorks, and anything that you have questions about, you can pop on there. And there's also an online help file within SolidWorks also for DriveWorks Express that you can access really easily. So there's loads of different resources that you can find to keep that DriveWorks Express knowledge growing. We also have a course that's really good for getting started with. So we have a learning platform that we've created, and this is just a step-by-step guide of if you're new to DriveWorks Express, where do I start? What do I do? Help me out. So again, you can access this via the DriveWorks community that I'll send a link to, and you can just go through this course really easy at your own pace. You can pick it up as and when, if you're a bit busy, or just pop on for half an hour, go back to it, that kind of thing. It'll stay there. Those sample projects I talked about, download them, have a go with them, see how different things are set up, see how maybe some projects that are relevant to your company have been set up. So it'll make it really easy when you see, for some ideas, I guess. We also have a little book of rules. So this is a really useful resource for actually creating all those important rules inside DriveWorks Express and Solo actually. So if you do want a copy of that, please just send an email either to me or to info@DriveWorks, and we can get you a PDF of that one to get you started. We also have, I know that we love certifications in the SWGN community, so we do have a free DriveWorks Express certification. It takes about 2 to 3 hours to complete, and what you'll basically do is go through a tutorial. It'll be making changes to a shelving unit. You'll make changes to things like we've just done then, to the length, the width, the material, all those sorts of things, and then create all these brand new models. So it'll sort of guide you through that, and then you'll be tested on that sort of tutorial that you go through originally, and then upon successful completion you'll become a certified DriveWorks Express associate. You can add that to, obviously, to your resumes, to your LinkedIn, that kind of thing. There's over 1,000 certified DriveWorks Express associates currently, so you'll join a very large group of fellow DriveWorks Express experts, we'll say, in that area. Why should you take part? One, it's very easy, and it does only take 3 hours. It's really beneficial if looking for employment or looking for other people looking for work at companies that use DriveWorks. We've got a base all around the world. We have resellers in over 50 countries, nearly 60 now, and we have customers around the world. So a lot of people are using DriveWorks. So it's great to have that on your CV to say, look, I know how this software works. And we all like an extra qualification is super important. So as I said, really easy. There's just 3 steps. It's following a tutorial, completing the certification, and in the end, improving your employability, having an extra certification, knowing more about DriveWorks Express and design automation. So I'll send this link out also to Prasad, just so you've got access to it instantly. Now I kind of wanted to move on. Obviously, we talked about DriveWorks Express. You've all got access to it. You can all go to Tools, Express Products, DriveWorks Express, add it in, start automating straight away. But there are different levels to DriveWorks software, depending on what you want to do, and I guess the requirements that you'd have for a design automation or in the future a CPQ project. So Express, we talked about entry level, all free. DriveWorks Solo is the next step up, and you can actually access a free 30-day trial of DriveWorks Solo, which is great because you can instantly download it. You don't have to put any credit card details in or anything like that, but it gives you a lot more functionality. Things like better quote generation, more advanced forms, drawing and model control, that kind of thing. And like I said, you can have a go with it for free, and I'll talk a little bit later on, but there is actually a free certification for it. And then DriveWorks Pro is top level software, allows things like integrations with your ERP systems, SOLIDWORKS PDM, obviously much better drawing control, that kind of thing. Also, having the ability to have an online configurator, CPQ solution up there also. But what I'll do is focus a bit on Solo now. So as I said, it allows you to do a bit more than DriveWorks Express does. You can automate your drawings, swap master models, create documentation such as there's all important bill of materials, letters, quotes, that kind of thing. The rules builder is a bit more intuitive. And as I said, you can all have a go with DriveWorks Solo for free, really easily. So it's quite a nice step up if you've use DriveWorks Express quite extensively and you just want to see what's going on with Solo. Just download the trial and just have a go. I'd really recommend it. There's also a certification. So if you're taking the DriveWorks Solo or you're on the DriveWorks Solo trial, you actually have access to the certification for free also. So during those 30 days, you can go through the training and you can then actually become fully certified in DriveWorks Solo. So again, adding another free qualification onto your resume, onto your LinkedIn, just for your general knowledge, which is great. So, you don't need to have a full license of it. You can be using the trial and have a go with getting your certification. So getting 2 for the price of 1 there. And then Pro is actually a multi-user environment. So this is, top level, quite advanced. There's different modules depending on what you need to do. So do I need an online configurator? Yes, I use DriveWorks Live. Do I need to have different people in the engineering office using, running different forms and running different specifications, probably DriveWorks user, and you need to set everything up within administrator. So this is just a different, obviously the top level, but you might want to have a go with it further down the line. It's just good to know about. We also have our DriveWorks live demo site. So this is just a place where you can go and actually try out the DriveWorks Pro software in terms of us creating demos yourself. So if I just click on this, it should take me to it. And I can just quickly show you from there. So hopefully you can see that on the screen. And basically, it's just lots and lots of different examples of DriveWorks Pro projects that we've set up to make it really easy for you to have a go and just see how this level of the software actually works. So again, I'll send a link if you want to have a play around with it and just see how a DriveWorks Pro configurator might look. And then again, these are just a final sort of overview of all of the different levels, or sorry, the different resources that you can access. So we've got some DriveWorksXpress links there. We've got that all-important DriveWorks community with all those resources, the help file that is fully indexed on Google, so you can access that straight away and just see how some things are set up and that kind of thing. So again, I'll send all these links out to you. But yeah, that is the end of, I know you've heard me speak for, God, nearly 40 minutes now, which is quite extensive. But yeah, if anyone has any questions, please let me know. I've just seen someone has put one in the chat. So is there any offers for startups? We would always recommend having a go with, obviously you've got Express straight away. So, start using that, start small, start with an Express project. Go on to DriveWorks Solo and use that free trial. And then we actually, as we're a company based in the UK, we sell worldwide via the SolidWorks reseller channel. So we would always work really closely with them with regards to any offers and things. So it is on a case-by-case basis. So I'm afraid I don't have anything concrete to say yes or no, but it has happened in the past. It's just that, again, it'll need to happen via your SolidWorks reseller, sort of what they decide upon.
Guys, if you have any questions, you can ask Bridie now about the views. Also, I had one doubt. So in the end, the design sheet, we can automate those views as well, right?
They automate what? Sorry.
As in, showing cut views of different sides and cut view from a different section like that.
Yeah. So you could. Is that on the actual drawing or is that the model itself? Yeah. On the drawing. So in DriveWorks Solo, yes, you can automate like the different view. You can get better views on the drawings, whereas the drawing for Express is, the model, just the model itself. But you can with DriveWorks Solo, you've got a lot more control with that drawing. So I just recommend having a go with the trial and just seeing how the different one works.
Haven't gone through Solo yet, but just trying out DriveWorksXpress right now.
No, what we always recommend is starting small. That's why we have DriveWorksXpress, because it's such a great way to introduce yourself to DriveWorks and how design automation actually works, how do rules work, how does capturing work, that kind of thing. So we always say start small, and then if you need to, keep building up, and as and when you can, really. And get your certification.
That was great. Yeah. I was actually planning to take the certification this month, but yeah, I'll be taking it soon because I couldn't take it last couple of months because of this and that. Like I had some few works, so yeah, I am planning to take it as soon as possible. After this session, yeah, definitely I'm gonna take it as soon as possible.
I'll look out for your name in my in the successful passes. I'm sure you will.
Yeah, definitely. So guys, if any other guys have any questions.
But also, if you don't have any questions now, but obviously you think of any, please just contact Prasad, and then he will be able to ask me, and I can get someone more technical than me to answer it. But yeah, I'll make sure, Aman, that I get all of those links sent across so you can, download go into the community. You can activate DriveWorksXpress, that kind of thing, I'll make sure that everything is sent across. Oh, no problem at all. It was very information loaded. I do apologize for talking at you on a Friday evening, but hopefully it was useful.
Actually, I usually set the meetings on Friday because since the weekend people have time. I mean, in India it's around 7:45 p.m. right now, so
Yeah.
people have time. Like if I keep it on a weekday, people will be working and they'll be stressed out and they won't have enough time to watch this. So I plan only for weekends. But if the guest doesn't have the time, yeah, then we reschedule it.
Yeah, no, that's good. It's a good time to have the meetings, especially because everyone's finished their work week and you can
Yeah.
sort of gather together in the evening. It's probably a lot easier.
I'm sorry because I think it's still morning in the UK. I'm
Oh
sorry
no,
for ruining the weekend.
no, it's not. It's only
No?
3:15, so
Okay, okay,
I'm working till 5 o'clock, so it's absolutely
okay.
fine. I've just seen another question.
Yeah,
I'm going to come back to that one if that's okay, only because it's
yeah,
about
sure, sure.
sheet metal, and I just want to double check with one of my more technical colleagues. So what I'll do is get a response to that question to you, Prasad, and then if you could just send that across, that
Yeah,
would be great.
yeah,
Um,
definitely. I'll send the answer to you about the
Perfect.
and is DriveWorks integrated with Simulink and MathWorks by
So
Divyanshu Singh.
I've not actually heard of those two systems, but DriveWorks does have a lot of integration capability, and we are able to integrate with a lot of third-party systems. They just need to make sure they have an open API. So when obviously in DriveWorks Express and DriveWorks Solo, it's not possible for integration, but with DriveWorks Pro, we do have a lot of companies integrating with lots of different third-party systems. So we have an open API, which makes it easy for us to be integrated with and vice versa. But it just depends if Simulink and MathWorks have open APIs and whether, then you can integrate with them. But we have lots of sort of functionality that enables very easy, sort of seamless integrations with different systems. But that is with the DriveWorks Pro version. But I'll send a link also. We have lots of different technology stacks, which detail lots of information about the different technology within DriveWorks Pro, and you'll be able to find out a bit more information about integrations within that. So I'll make sure I send that particular one, just if you're curious about how that all operates.
I'll share all the links in the meetup group and also as well as in LinkedIn because many people have also RSVP'd on LinkedIn. So
Oh,
I'll share
perfect.
all the details in LinkedIn and meetup. And also, if anyone have anything, like if you want me to send you a personal copy of the links, yeah, you can just text me on LinkedIn or meetup. I'll send all the links to you. And thank you so much, Bridie, for the amazing presentation. And it was just amazing. Like we got to know about automation and how we can you just told us how we can save our time from 1 hour to we can how we can go to 10 minutes, like literally. Even if we
Yeah.
do the designs and do the drawing sheets, it would take us literally an hour to do the project that you did using DriveWorks. It was just amazing. Thank you so much. And also
No,
thank you for clearing all the doubts our users had. Thank you so much.
no problem at all. Thank you so much for having me at the meeting today. It's been an honour, and I hope that maybe in the future I can return for more meetings with you all. But I hope you all have a great weekend. I'll make sure I get all of those links sent across, and I'll make sure I get that sheet metal question answered. And if you do have any other questions, please just send them to Prasad, and then he can send them across to me, and I'll make sure I get some responses for you. But no, thank you very much for having
Definitely.
me.
Thank
Take
you.
care,
Bye
everyone.
bye.
Bye.
Take care. Have a great weekend. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.